Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alicia Allen, and I am here to talk to you about the humanities and why they are important, why they play a vital role in the education that this institution offers their students. First, we're going to talk about what are the humanities. Well, the humanities are broad areas of human creativity and study. They include areas like philosophy, history, social sciences, arts and literature. Today we're going to focus more on the arts. What are some examples of the humanities? Some different genres of the arts are painting, sculpture, theater, cinema, and music. So how do we define art? Well, art is a very difficult thing to define, but for something to be called art, it must meet three criteria. The object or event is made by an artist. The object or event is intended to be a work of art by its maker. And it must be recognized by experts, and they agree that it is a work of art. What is value? A value is an object of interest, something that matters and that we care about. You can have intrinsic value, which is the immediate given worth or value of an object or activity. Extrinsic value. This is the means to intrinsic values or to further higher values, like the money that you make to pay for those things that make you happy. Normative values. They're values set forth as norms or ideals, what ought to be. And we're going to think about these as we go through the next few slides. Alright, so the first genre we're going to look at is paintings. Leonardo da Vinci was an Italian painter, a sculptor, an architect, musician, mathematician, an engineer, inventor, anatomist, geologist, a botanist, and a writer. He painted this painting called the Mona Lisa, which is probably his most famous work. He painted it between 1503 and 1506. This painting is hanging in the Louvre Museum in Paris since 1797. Leonardo da Vinci was widely considered to be one of the greatest painters of all time. Next we have Michelangelo's David. Michelangelo was an Italian sculptor, painter, architect, and poet. He created this sculpture, David, between 1501 and 1504. He used marble to carve the statue of David from the story of the Bible where David fought Goliath. The city of Florence, where Michelangelo was from, used this statue, or to them the statue was a symbol of the freedom of their Republic of Florence over the Medici family. Michelangelo has the little boy David holding a slingshot in his left hand and a stone in his right hand. You can see the detail that Michelangelo put into carving out this the statue. You see the muscles in the arms, and you can see the detail in the abs and how he paid specific attention to the details of the human body, which makes this a very famous piece of art. The next genre that we're going to look at is theater. And what makes theater so unique is that the primary focus of theater is the dialogue between the characters. And so in order for the play to be successful, you have to have great dialogue. And William Shakespeare is one of the uh, greatest playwrights. Um, he was an English poet, a playwright, and actor. He wrote 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems. Most of his works were produced between 1589 to 1613. His early plays were mainly comedies, such as A Midsummer Night's Dream and Merchant of Venice. Then he started to write tragedies like Hamlet, where we get the famous line, "To be or not to be, that is the question." Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth, and of course his famous, one of his most famous works, Romeo and Juliet and Julius Caesar. Our next genre is the cinema, and we're going to look at Casablanca. It was an American romantic drama from 1942, directed by Michael Curtiz. It starred Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. It won Academy Awards for Best Picture, Director, and the Writing Screenplay. It's consistently ranked near the top of lists of the greatest films of all time. Another very influential film is The Godfather. It was an American crime film directed by Francis Ford Coppola in 1972. It stars Marlon Brando and Al Pacino. It was a box office leader for the 1972. It won 3 Oscars for Best Picture, Best Actor for Marlon Brando, and Best Adapted Screenplay. It spawned 2 sequels, The Godfather Part 2 in 1974 and Part 3 in 1990. And it's ranked as one of the best films of all time. Our next genre is music. The Battle Hymn of the Republic, which was also known as Mine Eyes Have Seen the Glory outside of the U.S. It was by an American writer, Julia Ward Howe. She wrote it in 1861. She changed the lyrics to the tune of John Brown's Body. For over 138 years, this song has been a fixture in patriotic programs and is still sung in schools and churches across the nation. And we also have the Star Spangled Banner. Those lyrics come from a poem called Defense of Fort McHenry. It was written in 1814 by a 35-year-old lawyer and amateur poet, Francis Scott Key. After witnessing the bombardment of Fort McHenry by British ships of the Royal Navy in the Chesapeake Bay during the Battle of Fort McHenry in the War of 1812. It was made the national anthem by a congressional resolution on March 3, 1931, which was signed by President Herbert Hoover. So, now that we've taken a look at some of the different genres of humanities and art, why are the humanities important? Well, without the humanities, life would be so boring. There would be no paintings to look at, no sculptures to admire, no photographs, no films, no theatrical productions, no music. The world would be a very dull and boring place without each of these things. The humanities teach us about our history and where we came from. Looking at a painting can tell us a lot about the time period from which it came, or how the painter was feeling by the colors or lines that he or she used. It is in my opinion that it would be very detrimental to this institution to do away with the humanities and arts programs. They play a vital role in our past, our present, and our future, and without them the world would be lost. I hope that I have given you some things to think about in your decision, and that you would consider keeping the humanities as part of your educational curriculum. Thank you.